Okay, so I'm back in Lastoule Park in Perth, Ontario, Canada. It's quite a nice day. There's the old burying ground behind me. Historic cemetery. Um, I've got my sandwich that I like from the grocery store and my melon chunks. So it's kind of a good day so far. After this is my day off from work. So I'm doing work that's more work that I have to do in my personal life, seeing as how you have to take advantage of these days when you get them. I need to go out to my storage unit, and I also need to remove some stuff from the property where I was putting stuff. I need to remove that because it turns out I'm not going to be able to camp there. So I need to get in there and do that. Unfortunately, there's a highway that runs past this town of Perth, Highway number 7. And unfortunately, there have been 2 fatalities on that highway this week. And so rest in peace to the people who were the victims in those situations, and may their loved ones find peace, and cope with what's happened. It's very sad, it's an awful thing, tragedy when people pass that way, it's really a tragic and traumatic thing. But I would like to say something about that, though. Highway 7, at least the stretch of it that runs from Perth to the town of Carleton Place, is a 2-lane highway. It was built back in the 1950s to accommodate 1950s traffic. Now, I hear a lot of people around here talking about that and saying the highway should be upgraded. And they're probably right. It probably should be at this point. However, they're also saying that the fact the highway hasn't been upgraded is the reason for these accidents. And I would say no, they're wrong about that. And the reason is this. We need to drive on the highway that's there. Possibly they're right. The highway should be upgraded. It probably should be a 4-lane highway. At this point, we're not in the 1950s anymore. I won't argue about that with them. I think they're correct. However, it hasn't been upgraded. It is still a 2-lane highway, and it has to be driven on the way you drive on a 2-lane highway. Speed is a huge factor in these things. People trying to drive faster than the highway will allow them to drive. I have a friend who a few years ago ran her car into a guardrail on a curve on the highway, smashed the car up, smashed the guardrail up. She was pregnant at the time, so there was some concern that she may miscarry or whatever. Luckily, she wasn't seriously hurt. But talking to her about her accident, I asked her how fast she was going. And she said that's irrelevant. And I said, how is it irrelevant? Well, she said the highway needs to be different. And I should be able to drive fast on that highway. And I said, well, maybe you're right. Maybe the highway needs to be different. But I said, you got to drive on the highway that's there. You can't drive on the highway that should be there, because that's not the highway that's there. You got to drive on what's there. So, I told her, I said, it was your fault. It wasn't the highway's fault. Anyway, she was kind of offended by that. She was kind of mad at me for saying that. But that is the truth. I'm not saying these people are wrong that say the highway should be upgraded. There are a lot more cars on the road now than there was when the highway system around here was built. And so they're probably right. But a lot of the trouble that we've been having could be avoided if people would just be more patient and slow down and realize that you have to drive on the highway that's there, not on the highway that you think should be there. Even if you're right, even if the highway that you think should be there you have to slow down and drive on what's actually there. That's all. It's just the same in bad weather. You can't drive the same in a blizzard as you drive on a day like today, you know? Yet I see a lot of people on the highway going crazy in blizzards, passing, and then you see the guy in the ditch up the road after he's flown past you, you know? And it's like, well, you were going too fast for road conditions. It's not the road's fault, and it's not the fault of the weather. It's your fault because you didn't adjust your driving to conditions. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to enjoy my sandwich. Like I say, rest in peace to those who were killed on the highway in the last week. It's a terrible thing, and I'm sorry that's happened anyway. And it'd be nice if people would slow down, though. You know, things move way too fast these days in so many respects. We need to slow down. All right. We miss beautiful moments like this when we don't slow down. And we create ugly moments like what's happened on the highway when we don't slow down. Bye for now.